Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and Anthony SanFilippo is absolutely full of caca.
No, I'm not.
I got pulled into a discussion about downtown traffic, but I mean, what would it be?
But it was 6:31.
Fake news, Anthony SanFilippo.
It was 6:31, and I was sitting here ready to go.
Who was here at 6:22? Actually, very early, much earlier than 6:22. Who called you at 6:22 and said, "Where are you?"
I was downstairs.
And I said, "What are you doing?"
And I was working.
And I said, "This is the job that matters." But then you told me
that there's things that I might be able to talk about on this show that I was discussing downstairs.
And I said, "Well, I guess we might have a very entertaining show." All right, so we're back. I want people to know, because this is important. I had a couple of people after the last game.
Yeah.
I don't like pulling back the curtain too much here.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm the big pro wrestling fan, right? Kayfabe.
Right.
You got to keep kayfabe alive.
Yeah.
We weren't mad at each other. Well, I think he was. But we weren't actually mad at each other the other night.
Not at
so
all.
the whole silent treatment thing, we got done doing pregame, and this guy over here is like, "Ha, it's really funny." And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, for those of you who were upset after the last Press Row show and thought that it was an uncomfortable pregame, it was slightly uncomfortable, but that's why we have intern Andrew. He has become our comedic relief on the show.
Yes, absolutely. He's the comedy on the show.
Although I don't know why he brought the video so close in, because we're going to have a guest on the show shortly.
Yeah, we are. But I'm going to tell another intern Andrew story that's off-air story that I think is really kind of funny.
Is this one about him following us into the bathroom again? Or
No.
He followed me in the bathroom.
No. This has nothing to do with that. So, as you know, him and Bundy had a little bit of a spat back and forth, right?
Yeah.
About
the people don't know about it.
But we briefly talked about it, where he kind of chimed in on what was going on in the game, assuming everybody was watching, and Bundy was not watching at the time, and got mad that intern Andrew shared that information.
Yes.
So there was a lot of fun with that a couple weeks ago, and then you know, the benevolent person that you are, decide that you're going to send out Christmas cards to everybody.
Yep.
And you put in our text exchange that you wanted everybody's home address. And Andrew goes, "Can I text you separately? I don't want Bundy to know where I live."
I don't think that's unreasonable.
The intern at this point has been he's violated a few ethics codes that we have long established on this show. I'll bring him up here for a second.
Yeah.
Violations galore. We had the follow into the bathroom incident with both of us. He also, another time, went in when I went in, did not use the facilities. I don't know what he was doing.
I did it more than once?
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
And in fact, the time with me was when Ant wasn't around. So it must have been one of the games that you had to leave early. I think it was one of the planned early exits. So that's twice. That's like two of the same violation. He didn't know that the Flyers drafted Forsberg.
Yeah, it was a violation.
Yeah, that one's fair.
He doesn't want Bundy to know where he lives.
Yeah.
I'll stand by
He
that
also
100%.
doesn't want to dress up again for Christmas. And we told him he has to dress up for the Christmas show.
I said I would do it.
But there was a lot of...
There was a little bit of, do I really have to do it again kind of thing going on, but then you did it. You said you would. And again, mad props for that, you know. And
he's
then,
an absolute delight. He's a nice young man.
And the topper of all of it is that he's a blind loyalist to James Franklin.
That is true. That's unfortunate. That's a character flaw.
That is a character flaw.
That's not ideal.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome in.
I do feel bad for the guy.
Welcome in. We have Flyers Red Wings tonight. We're going to talk a lot about the Flyers. There's a lot going on with the squad, a lot to get to. But we are going to have a kind of an unexpected pregame guest.
It's not Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, I know. That's not until August.
Someday.
That's August, maybe.
We will be together.
Maybe.
We will compare our 23andMe or Ancestry.com.
Yeah, but we found out early enough that jam band bassist Karina Rykman is going to be coming on the show. Has a show coming up, I think, tomorrow
night
at the
Foundry at the Fillmore.
Yeah, at the Foundry at the Fillmore.
And so we said, all right.
Yeah, said absolutely. Got to
mix it up. Listen, folks.
Big sports fan.
Yeah, there are people in the building who are in the know who say that tonight's game against the Detroit Red Wings is not going to be a needle mover, is not going to be the pinnacle of the sport. So while we are committed to breaking down the game that we will see tonight, that we will witness, this is actually a very good time to have a pregame guest.
Well, and my thought process on this, too.
Plus, you have things that you might be efforting at some point.
Yeah, I'm working on. But I look at it and say, hey, listen, we do this and we get a good interview with Karina. And she tells everybody it's great. And look, we tagged her on Twitter and everything else.
She quote tweeted it and said, "I'm flyered up" in all caps.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
She's in.
She's all in. Down the road, maybe we can get that Nate Bargatze come on and sit next to you and have people be confused as to who's actually who.
I'm willing to take the Press Row show on the road to Reading in February for his live show and do that
If we
up
could
there.
do it there instead?
I don't care. It has to happen.
Yeah, it absolutely has to
All right,
happen. Anyway, so Karina's coming on at 6:40, so we have like 2 minutes.
That's assuming that she can get through the traffic, which if she went through downtown Philadelphia tonight,
not
maybe
happening.
near Market East, you ain't moving anywhere.
Yeah,
Do you want to let the people know what's going on down there? Are you paying attention to it? Do they write about it on Pattison today?
Yeah, there's the anti-Sixers arena folk.
They are not happy.
Are having a protest, and their protest is is loading up the streets with traffic at rush hour.
Yep.
To simulate what the gridlock is going to be like on a game night if there's an arena downtown. That's a pretty good protest idea.
I
support it. I support the idea. Right? It's pretty cool.
I support the Sixers arena. I don't care.
Well,
it's a dumpy part of town. Chinatown's lovely, but it's a dumpy part of town. I don't care. You know what would actually be nice? Maybe if the Sixers do get to build the arena, maybe somebody in Philadelphia's government will actually do a job for a change, and maybe they'll improve public transportation. Maybe they can make it safe and also effective and efficient. That would be great. They have plenty of runway to do it. I just don't see it.
No, but even if they did, let's say that they created the greatest public transportation system in the country. Really, let's say it was the best.
Yeah.
Do you still think more people from the suburbs who were going into a game would take public transportation?
Depends on how accessible and how affordable it is.
I don't think so.
And if it's safe.
People
people in their minds have an idea of what safe looks like.
People want to drive their own vehicle. They don't want to rely on public transportation because then you got to get on the train and then you got to get in your car and drive home from wherever your closest train station is.
Works in New York.
Yeah, but again, New York is very condensed.
Works in Boston.
You prefaced it by saying even if it was the best transportation in the country. So
yeah.
In that, then it seems like everything would be flawless.
No, but here's the thing, and a lot of people forget this, right? So SEPTA only goes out so far into the suburbs. Right?
Yeah.
It only goes so far. So
what's the farthest it goes out that SEPTA goes out?
It depends on where you live, but out our way.
Paoli Thorndale is that SEPTA?
That is, but that's one of the regional rail lines.
Okay,
you got that one. Our regional rail line goes out to Elwyn.
Okay.
Media Elwyn. Actually, the Wawa. They have a Wawa station now, which is just past where
it doesn't go to KOP.
Riddle Hospital is. I mean, they have buses that go out there.
Nah, that doesn't count.
They have the trolley that goes close to there.
That doesn't count.
But not,
if you set up a direct line from just follow me. If you do a direct line from King of Prussia to the arena, no stops. Yes, the suburbs would go to the arena.
I disagree.
But that's it. People don't want to have the transfer, and people want to feel safe.
You keep saying no stops, right? But that's assuming that everybody's getting on and off at the same station.
You'd have to if you're on the King of Prussia line.
But that's the point. That's the thing that it's not going to do that.
You could do the thing that Phoenixville's been trying to sell people on for a while. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's just not going to. It's unrealistic.
The poor people in Phoenix. Well,
it's unrealistic.
Some of the people in Phoenixville, for a few years ago, it was like, oh, we're going to do this. They're going to put a stop in Phoenixville. It's going to go through, Valley Forge Park because there used to be the train station that's not active or whatever, right? Because it's Norfolk Southern, right? Like, this is going to happen. And then Pottstown and Royersford, right, on either side. They're like, that's not happening.
You want to know what would
sharing the rail lines? It's not going to happen.
If Comcast Spectacor was smart, you know what they would have done tonight?
What would they have done?
They would have allowed free parking for this game.
Oh, to make a point.
Just let everybody park.
When we see Hilferty, let's remind him as he goes by.
They should have just let everybody, because the protest is going on down there.
Yeah.
Gridlock traffic, and just leave the gates up. Just let everybody come in. Just come in and park. Find your spot. See you later.
I actually do wish that the rail line came up to where I'm at. I would take it into the game.
Well, you would, because you hate driving an hour and 20 minutes each way.
Because it sucks.
But let me ask you a question.
It's a waste of time.
Like, how much time? Let's say you had to go. Let's say you said King of Prussia. Let's be realistic, right?
Yeah.
Because where the hell you are is way out there.
Yeah.
Let's say King of Prussia. How far of a ride is it from your house to King of Prussia? 20 minutes.
20, 25.
All right, so even 25 minutes.
And I know where you're going to go with this, and my argument would be it would be productive time for me. I could sit on the train and I could work, which I can't do on the Schuylkill and the Blue.
How many people are going to a sporting event on a train working?
Well, they could be sitting on their phone. They could be scrolling Twitter. They could be going back into the archives.
I mean, you're coming
for
down.
Snow the Goalie, the Only Flyers podcast on YouTube.
You're
and
coming
they get their
down here
podcasts.
because you have a job to do.
Yes.
You're not coming down here to be here with the family or friends.
I
and
would, though.
have some beers
Oh, I
and
certainly
enjoy
would.
the game. But that's my point. The thing of it is that you're now talking about a train ride from King of Prussia. It's probably going to be a half hour down in, right? Assuming even if it's not going to be an express, but let's say that there's a couple of stops, whatever, along the way.
Yeah.
You're still about a half hour, and then you got to get in your car and drive another 25 minutes. It's still basically the same thing, and you're paying
but I
for it.
But I like trains. Who doesn't love a good train?
It's crazy.
Who doesn't love a good train?
It's crazy.
Anyway.
Crazy. Then you can't go out afterwards. Like you come down with your buddies, and like, oh, let's go to the bar and get a beer. Can't do it. I took the train.
That's fine. Who's going to say no to the... But there's also Ubers. Like, you realize Ubering is also an option.
You're spending
you're spending
more
money. Well, it's those who
spending
can
more
will, and those who
money.
can't, won't. And
Yeah, unless you're going to the whatever establishment is right there by the arena within walking distance. Like, let's say you wanted to go somewhere further down in the city.
Yeah.
Closer to South
sure.
Philly or whatever. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just not. It's not as convenient as people think it is.
All right, we have people asking us hockey questions. Let's get back to hockey.
Chris Fried, I don't know if he meant this as a pun or not, but he said intern Andrew needs to get this back on the rails. It's very funny.
That's good.
That was good.
That's good.
Well, I mean, it's a topical conversation because it impacts this building as well. And our guest is coming in right now.
Okay, good.
'Cause there's Ike.
Well, then that's good.
So, intern, we gotta get the camera, fix the camera. Intern, fix the camera.
Intern.
How are you?
Now he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
We'll let her know that we're live now.
Yeah, no, we're live, just so you know. Yeah, you can bring the mic real close.
Yep. Here we go.
You got to turn her mic on.
There we go. I got it.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Karina Rykman, how are you?
I've never been better. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks
Absolutely.
for coming on. I was so excited to hear that you were willing to come on the show with us today.
Are you kidding? It's the honor of my lifetime to meet you guys. Come on.
This is fantastic. Karina Rykman's going to be playing at the Foundry tomorrow night. This is exciting stuff. I understand you're a big sports fan.
I've been known to enjoy the sports, and it's great. And, pals with Al Morganti who invited me, and Ike Richmond over there, and I couldn't resist. It's the best.
You can't say no.
Absolutely.
You can't say no to
I had a good feeling when you quote tweeted with the "I'm flired up" in all caps. So
I
we're
feel good
in
about
shape.
it. Yeah. And I am, by the way, for the record.
Well, good.
Very flyered up.
Good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, so you're originally from New York.
I am born and bred in Manhattan. Yes.
So were you like a Rangers fan growing up?
I've been known to enjoy the Rangers for sure, and but I like a good close game of any variety, a display of sportsmanship. Like, I like it when it all comes down to the wire and we're all fucking freaking out.
Yep.
That sounds
Can
perfect.
I curse? Are we cursing on this? No, cut
You
it
know
out.
what? I don't
Good
actually
luck.
care. At
You
this point,
curse.
it doesn't matter.
You curse.
We're gonna let you
You're
go.
gonna do the
I'm so
Bundy bomb.
used
You should
to-
do the
Oh,
Bundy
wait,
bomb.
hold on, wait,
Wait,
come on,
we
come on.
have this. We have a bomb
here
for
we
when
go.
somebody curses.
Give me the buddy bomb.
Here we
All right,
go.
here we go. Buddy bomb.
Here it is.
And I just don't even think about it.
Intern Andrew's about to have a coronary. All of a sudden, his face just got really red.
Intern Andrew, is that your name?
Yes.
Andrew, how are you, pal? What's going on?
Intern Andrew. He
Intern
He
Andrew.
doesn't get the full. He doesn't
Yeah.
get his full name yet.
When does he get the full name?
He's been an intern for 2 years now, so we'll see.
The 12th of never.
I'm rooting for you, Intern Andrew.
So, Karina, so you're a bassist, right?
Correct.
And we got something in common, because so am I.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, Andrew.
No,
It's not my
I
rules.
joke.
What do you play? What do you play?
I really don't.
We don't.
I really don't play the bass.
Oh.
But when my kids are performers, right?
Okay.
They like to act and sing and dance.
Nice.
And they're grown now. They're adults. But when they were young, we played rock band.
Oh, yeah.
And Dad was the only one who was allowed to play the bass line.
Wow.
And something I learned, and look, everything on Wikipedia has got to be true.
Yeah.
It's got to be true if it's on Wikipedia. It turns out that you became a fan of playing rock music listening to that great bass line from Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Is this true?
I mean, I that's the first riff I learned as a young
Look who did his
child.
He did
look
more
at you.
research for this
You
than he
read
has
my Wikipedia page?
in like 6 years of doing
And
the
I
show.
listened to your album.
You are
too,
out of control.
on the way in.
You're working too hard. You realize that.
Well,
You
I mean,
realize-
I would I'm going to have a guest on the show. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, "Say, so what's up? How you doing?"
Right. Allegedly. No, listen, I'm honored and thrilled. Yeah, I've been known to enjoy Seven Nation Army. I learned it. It's the first thing I learned, and, it's been a long, strange trip ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And we found, the other thing I think is really kind of cool is, another great Philadelphia sports fan is somebody that you're tight with. It's Trey Anastasio from Fish.
He loves the Flyers.
Yes.
He loves the Flyers.
Yes.
I know. I'm going to send him a photo later. I'm excited. I hope that Gritty picks me up like a child. Is that over the line?
I think it's fair.
No, I think it should happen.
Right?
He's right below us.
We're going to see him after we wrap it up with you gentlemen.
Absolutely. You should go make sure that happens. So tell us how you got to know Trey, because, he's kind of iconic in the Philadelphia sports world, especially in this building,
Sure.
with being a Flyers fan.
I mean, originally it goes back to middle school. I went to middle school with his daughters.
Out of town,
So
really?
we were all, on the Upper West Side in school together. And, I just slept over at their house all the time. I didn't even know he was in a band. I had no idea. And then they took me to Jones Beach to see Fish in 2009. I was 15. And then the week after, they took me to Bonnaroo. And it was all over after that. My life very much cemented itself as, I don't know what it's going to be, but I will surround myself with music. Whatever. I would be an agent, a manager. I would take the tickets at the box office. And, of course, up here was maybe I could be a musician.
That's
But
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, you've played Bonnaroo, right?
I played Bonnaroo.
Was that the coolest festival that you've played?
Yes. Hands
It
down.
has to be, right?
I mean, I've played a lot of incredible festivals, but that one, when we got the call for that, I nearly fainted, and it was one of those bucket list. And, there's like a Bonnaroo roar,
Yeah.
And I remember hitting our last note and it just being like, ah!
That's awesome.
It was one of the greatest days of my life.
That's pretty cool.
When you play something like that, and then you go to a smaller, more intimate venue, like, what do you prefer? Do you still like going back and forth between like some of the bigger and the smaller? Like, where you at?
I love it all. I'm just as jazzed to play for 100 people and I am for 10,000 people, And
That's
it's,
cool.
It's one of the, I just love to play. Like a maniac, I love to play. And I just, like, every single chance I'm on stage, I am soaking it up with a straw, because I feel like, I don't know, I always feel like it could be the last time.
Now, does the set list change at all? Like, do you mentally have different sets depending on like the size of that venue, or no?
Certainly. And they change, based on all sorts of factors, changes it up. I don't have, a Fish level, catalog yet, you know what I mean?
get
So
there.
they can't change that much quite yet. But, and even, me playing in Philly tomorrow, I'm like, what did we play in Philly last year? Okay, well, we can't do that. We can't do that. It's all got to be different. It's all got to be,
Do you do any cover songs?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite one to do?
Oh, good question. I've been in a deep Genius of Love by the Tom Tom Club moment. That's been good. And Little Pepper by the Butthole Surfers. Always hits. Always hits.
Pepper is right up my alley.
Come on, you love it.
I
You
love it.
I love it too.
Oh, it's kind of like an avalanche coming down the mountain.
Oh, he's right there. You
I'm
coming
right
to my
there.
show tomorrow? What's going
Well,
on?
now I wish I could. I wish I could come now, but it's probably sold out, right?
There are a few tickets left.
Few
And you know
tickets
what?
left.
Now we're good pals. I'll slide you on
There we go.
Wow.
Get on the list. Get on the
Even
list.
Intern Andrew can come. I promise I won't curse there.
There you go.
Just kidding. all I do is curse at my shows.
That's
Just
great.
kidding.
That's
fine.
great. Karina Rykman, thank you
I
very
don't care
much.
if she curses.
At the Foundry tomorrow, I'm being told you have to go, otherwise we keep you here the whole pregame.
It's because I got to be held by Gritty.
You got to be held by
gotta-
Gritty.
Yeah.
But
I
thank
wish
you
you the
for
best
coming
with
on.
that.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on Snow the Goalie.
You guys are the best.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you so
coming on.
much.
Take care, guys.
All right. Karina Rykman.
Bye.
How'd you like that? Huh? It was good.
Fantastic.
And intern,
She's fired up.
Intern Andrew. Thanks, Ike.
Ike was over there, kind of like the mafioso boss,
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
like pointing at his watch.
So
Let's
we
go.
gotta go. We gotta go. I don't know what you think this is. We think we should go like the whole night. What are we doing?
You're right. Intern.
And we love Ike. We love
Intern
it.
Andrew was freaking out when she dropped the F-bomb.
So scanning her Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
I'm seeing she has one album.
Well, one of her for her own album. Yeah.
You know what it's called?
It's Joy something, right?
It's Joyride.
It's
Joyride. Yeah,
I think
Joyride.
she named it after Russ.
That's right.
We should have told her that. So you should have brought that up. A good intern would have brought that up.
That's
I
actually a
didn't
good
wanna
point.
interrupt you.
That's a good point.
I didn't
The
wanna
next time
interrupt
she's
you.
in Philly, she's got to come back on the show.
That's right.
She was wonderful.
She's great. And
And
she plays for. This is not like somebody who. Most of people in our audience probably have never heard of her, right? But it's kind of it's jam band. It's a different scene than what your classic rock or even your modern pop stuff. So it's a little bit different sound. It's kind of indie. But it's not like she's playing like small little house places. I mean, she's played like big festivals. Like we talked about Bonnaroo. I mean, you're playing for a huge crowd.
Yeah.
And if you go to her website, and you could see that she's got a front page photo, or not the front page, the second page photo on there of her with all those with got to be 20,000 people in the background as she's playing the bass on the stage.
I love the fact that she Bundy bombed not once but twice.
Took my breath away.
I mean, there are some people who think that young intern Andrew here might be starstruck, but we'll keep those comments in the comment section, and I guess we'll get back to the hockey here. But she was wonderful. That was great.
Yeah, not bad.
Sometimes you have people on, and listen, we love everybody who comes on the show. We do. We love them all tremendously. We think they're all great. That was like winter energy.
Wait, you know what I also liked about it?
What was that?
She's done our show and she's done Howard Stern. That's our first connection, I think, to Howard Stern.
I've done Howard Stern before. Let's look. Has Nate Bargatze ever done Howard Stern?
I don't know. I think Bundy did like Artie Lang's podcast or something.
He may have.
Bundy did?
Yeah.
That's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon right there.
I stumbled across it on YouTube. It was either Artie Lang or somebody else that used to be on Stern.
We'll have to ask him when he
have to
comes
ask
on.
him,
Yeah, we'll have to ask him when he comes on.
I like Shawnee's comment here. Joyride, all about sitting in the car while Russ goes on a diatribe about some random stuff. That'd be a blast. You know what I thought about? Like, as much as I complain about the traffic, like I could just go live. I'm starting to think like I have the magnetic mount in the car.
Yep.
And I should just do like live ranting.
So you have the Russ Joy Show 3 days a week.
Yes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m.
Tuesday and Thursday should be Russ ranting about traffic from his car.
That's right.
At rush hour. Whether it's
Russ hour.
Picking up your kids, right?
I would be so tempted to do Russ hour as Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, and I would get canceled so fast. So fast. If this were the 90s or the early 2000s, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Now, no.
No, can't.
Do you hear me? Do you understand the words that come out my mouth? All right, let's continue.
I just got a message I got to go over to.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Did you get confirmation on something that
Yeah, I got to go talk. I got to get up. So you and Andrew can take this for 5 minutes. Let me give you my prediction of the game tonight.
Okay.
Can I give you my prediction?
Where are you going?
He got a thing, and he's trying to effort something, and he's
I got to go over.
Mr. Hot Stove over here. It's
Yeah.
certainly not a hot stove across the street at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, no, I got to go talk to somebody. My prediction for the game tonight is the Flyers win this one. 5-3 is my prediction. I think it's another higher scoring game, just like the last one. Kolosov in net. Zamula back in.
Oh, we got to talk about Kolosov, and you're not going to be here.
Oh, we can do
about
it.
the rankings now.
He's
the
back.
depth
He's
chart.
the backup goalie.
The depth
now?
chart that he's now the number 2. Fedotov
Are
is
we
the number
surprised
3.
by this?
Well,
Are we surprised? All right.
I mean,
5-3 Flyers.
I guess intern and I will talk about it. I have to, 5-3. All right.
And I'll be right back.
I mean, how long is it going to take you?
I don't know. It depends
It's
on
either
how long.
is this true? Is this not true?
You know who texted me.
I know who texted you.
So as soon as I get to
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
right. We have to go back to last year. Ant just makes stuff up. That's right. I forgot. He just shows the phone, and we all just make it up because Chiclet says so.
I think that they got a little bit of a humble pie though after the
Who did?
Ryan Whitney.
Nah. You have to have shame in order to.
Well, I sent you the clip that happened this past September when he reported on Chicklets something that Don Sweeney was either lowballing Jeremy Swayman or they were just ignoring him altogether. And he got mad, and then Whitney was like, "Hey, I just got information and I reported it. Don't shoot the messenger." Like Whitney,
buddy, that's exactly.
You must see the irony. That's exactly what you did to us.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I don't know. If I ever meet him, I'll tell him that. I bet he'll
Are
understand.
you gonna meet him?
I think I will.
Will you?
I'm going to work at Barstool one day.
Oh!
I've decided.
Intern Andrew's going to work at Barstool.
That's why I'm here. I'm beefing up the resume.
For Barstool.
Yeah.
Could have been down there with John Gruden, man. Could have been down there breaking down the film, man.
I did try.
Guy just loves some football, man.
I tried. They didn't like my application.
That's unfortunate. And I think that what people should do, supporters of this show, they should tweet at John Gruden. Isn't it at Barstool Gruden?
Yeah, I don't.
They should take their favorite clips of Intern Andrew. They should take the elf thing. They should send it to Gruden and be like, how could you not like this guy?
I know.
I'm telling you, man. The way he wore that hat, man, was he wearing the curly shoes there, man, with the little bells? We love the little bells, man.
I don't know if you've looked at his Twitter account. I'm going to go on a limb and say he's not the one operating that Twitter
You never know
account.
that, man. You never know.
It's probably not him.
All right, anyway. I guess we can, you and I, it's just us. Because Aunt Sanfoni over here
This
has
doesn't
to,
leave this room.
I want to call him Aunt Zamboni. Because like Ant Samboni. So, an important note. There are rumors, once again, swirling around the Flyers. It came out today that the Flyers and Kings might be in discussion. I don't know if that's what Ant went to go run off and look into. But there have been rumors swirling around the Flyers and the Kings. I talked to somebody. You were around for this. Talked to somebody from the organization a game or two ago. Said, hey, what are we looking at? Now, I don't expect that person to come out and say, we got 3 irons in the fire. But they were like, a lot of planting seeds for the deadline, but things have kind of cooled off. Well, all right. And then all of a sudden, we're back in on this Flyers-Kings maybe. They're going around. Could the Flyers be kicking the tires on something prior to the roster freeze, which is coming up really soon? I don't know. Is that what Ant went to go handle? Who knows? I mean, I know. I can't tell you, but maybe. Well, but so maybe not.
If it is the names, I won't say the names, obviously, on the air, but if it is the names that Anthony mentioned to us a second ago.
What he had heard, which is different.
Who do you think that they would be getting in, like, what position would they be getting back in return? Like, they just...
I think they want to I think no matter what, the Flyers want a center. I think that to them is like paramount. I'm actually going to flip this really quick so I can, I'll be looking at you instead of...
Okay.
Yeah, that's important.
Yes, it is.
Got to look at you. Hey.
What's up, buddy?
I'm not really... The only thing I can think is they want a center, no matter what. It doesn't make sense. The Jiricek thing was different because that was a super young guy, big frame. You're talking about maybe having to fix his skating, right? But there was still the belief that he was going to turn it around. You're not going to look to try to make a trade for another small defenseman. You already have them in spades here.
Yeah.
Right? And in the event that a Rasmus Ristolainen does pique the interest of another team enough, that's your biggest body. That's probably your heaviest hitter. Sealer sometimes, right, when he's in the lineup. You're not going to make a trade right now. Some of the guys whose names have popped up in trades, you're not going to make a deal for another small defenseman. I think they'll look at center. The problem that we keep running into here is that even after the Jiricek thing didn't happen, people said, well, you have to save your bullets to go after a center. And the thing I keep coming back to is there are no teams in this league who are going to actively trade you a 22, 23-year-old center with 1C potential.
That's what
unless you're parting with multiple picks. But again, like, why would you do that? Because presumably that team would also be in the midst of a rebuild.
Right, LA's a good team, aren't they?
Yeah, but like...
that's what I'm saying. I don't know how the Flyers would expect to get a center in return. Because you guys have all mentioned on the show numerous times this season how hard it is to find centers in this league nowadays.
Correct.
There's just not... The depth is just not there for a lot of teams. So that's why I don't... In a perfect world, yeah, that'd be great if we got a good center from Los Angeles.
I just don't. But the other thing is there a prospect? Is there somebody in their system? Is there somebody in the international player pool that could be known? So, like, I don't know this, right? Well, I'll just say I know nothing, right?
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Thank you. Well, that was a nice moment. You know nothing. What did she sound like? You know nothing, Jon Snow.
She was... I can't remember if she was Scottish or Irish.
She was Irish.
She was? Okay.
Yeah,
and they're married in real life. Did you know that?
I know they're married, yeah. I wonder if he knows nothing in real life. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What I would not be surprised by, because, like, we're getting to the point now with the Flyers where they've gone out and gotten enough Russian players where, like, nothing would surprise me. If there's a team in this league that has a Russian prospect who might still have another year or two left on their contract, but this team looks at it and says, hey, we think that guy can be a stud, and we're essentially building out our own USSR team.
Yeah, it's like what the Capitals were 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
I mean, if there is something to be said for trying to get some young guys, well, he can just sit here because Ant's not coming. No. He can just sit here because Ant, who knows when Ant's coming back? It doesn't matter. Come pop. He wants to go confirm something or not. So we're in the midst. Here you go. We are in the midst of talking about the Flyers potentially, trades coming up. There's this rumor going around that the Flyers and the Kings are maybe looking at some things. They play against each other next week. Roster freeze is coming up. And I said to Andrew that it wouldn't surprise me if we got to a point here where maybe the players the Flyers are looking at aren't just NHL players, maybe aren't just AHL players. Like, could it be possible that given the success that they've had in bringing over Russian players, could they maybe be looking to acquire a player who might not currently be stateside?
I don't know anything about it. I just
you know what I mean, though? Like,
you're right. I don't know though. But if what's on the go or not. I don't even know what LA would be shopping. I mean, everybody now. I mean, this is the time of year guys are trying to do something.
Yeah.
They've had 25 games to kind of look at their team and then and understand what they're trying to do with their club. So but again, I don't know what moves are there. I'll look more into it tonight and we'll see what they've got. But I don't know. This is new to me, Russ. So you threw me a loaded grenade here, buddy.
I'm sorry. You know what? Here, let me. I'll dive on that for you, and we'll get back to something that you might have expected. Maybe we're talking about over on the pregame show over there, and then we'll get to predictions. Tortorella came out today. Said Sam Emerson is the number 1.
Yes, I
Alexei
heard.
Kolosov is the number 2. Fedotov is the number 3.
Yep.
And that he had communicated it to Fedotov. However, he acknowledged we don't know how long we're going to keep 3 goalies, and there are also other things to keep in mind with Fedotov. Presumably the contract, having to go through waivers, all that. Were you surprised that he came out and gave people the depth chart?
That's my 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why he gave the depth chart, but that would be my 1, 2, and 3. I don't even think you needed to say that. I think all you have to do is dress. If you wanted to make the statement, you would have started Urson tonight and made Kolosov the backup. Except he did that the other night.
Yeah.
And he might have been better off just saying, this is what my goaltending is going to look like for a while.
Okay.
Making a depth chart with your goaltender, like nobody cares. Except the goaltenders. I don't. If you care, Russ, about who's the backup is, Kolosov or Fedotov, then you're worrying about way too much stuff. Because I don't care at all.
I think it just comes down to whether or not he had kind of thought that one of them had stood out from the other.
Well, I think Torts listening and the fact that he had a pretty quick hook on Fedotov last week.
Yeah.
I think that tells you that he has more of a leaning towards Kolosov, who is the younger goalie also.
Yeah.
So, but I'll do some do a little bit more work. And I'm sure Anthony will hear something. If we get a chance to talk to anybody with the Flyers, we'll do that, pass that information along to you.
Vineet Singh here says, did Snow the goalie address Jonesy's comments that they will not add at the deadline and only subtract? No, we can get there in the intermissions. But before we get there, we have to do our predictions. Anthony already dropped a 5-3 Flyers prediction. I will also go in line with Anthony. I think tonight's going to be an ugly game, not one that we're going to enjoy that much. And I think it's going to be a 6-3 game. Flyers.
All right, I use the score to go look at the games. Why did the line open at minus 145 for the Flyers and now it's minus 120?
I don't know.
All right, I'm taking Detroit 3-2.
I'll take the Flyers 4-3.
All right.
All right.
My initial thought was take the Flyers. It just looks too easy.
That's not a lot of line movement, though.
That's a massive line move from minus 145 to minus 120. That's huge, Russ. That's 20 point. That's massive. Go find a minus 150 somewhere to take it to 120.
I looked earlier today. They had Detroit at even money.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's. It must be because of Talbot. It must be because of Talbot coming back. I don't.
It could be that.
I don't care what book you use. I'll show you my book, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. It's called Score. See you in a bit,
And on that,
everyone.
we'll see you guys in the first intermission. It's turn! welcome into the. Oh my God, intern, you.
Intern's busy. He's following people on Twitter. he's got work to do.
I legitimately said to him, "You are not allowed to try to communicate with the wonderful person who was on here pregame. She was great. By the way, we did get the update. I'll bring it up on the screen. But Karina Rykman, who was here during pregame, she said her one goal tonight was to go get held by Gritty. And to her credit, she followed through. So we'll bring it up. But Bundy missed out on that pregame. But intern Andrew, some people think that intern Andrew's in love. We do not promote intern Andrew trying to follow people on social media who are guests on the show. We don't, approve of him following.
I wonder if
like Peter Luco came on the show, if Hitch were on the show, he's not allowed to follow them.
There's Gritty holding Karina Rykman in his arms.
So that is after she got done doing pregame with us. She went down. She found Gritty. She got the picture she wanted. So
I do have a question though.
What's that?
For intern Andrew, like if she follows him back, is she allowed to know where he lives? Unlike Bundy.
No, not until she's been properly vetted. I don't know what her past is like.
Well, why don't you find out? Make her your present.
By the way, we were talking a little bit about it. Did you go on Artie Lang's podcast at some point?
The what?
Did you go on Artie Lang's podcast at some point?
No.
Who is it from Stern that you went on their show? Because I saw it on YouTube, but I can't remember who it was.
Oh, I did go on with Artie Lang once, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Well, because
obviously it's a memorable spot.
Well, no, the reason we say that, so she came on and she dropped an F-bomb.
Oh.
And
dropped 2.
She did drop 2. And she said, I'm sorry, I do Stern all the time. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that's our closest connection to Stern. But then intern Andrew goes, oh, no, Bundy was on Artie Lang's podcast.
Yeah, I was.
I was like,
yeah.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation with Artie.
Yeah.
Sports talk. Yeah.
By the way, the reason we're doing all this discussion is because there was a first period of hockey on that ice.
Was there?
Not that you noticed it.
That was not a good, entertaining period of hockey. Like, even our fans saw it. Like, wake me up when the second period starts. I mean, you talk about a feel-out period. I hate periods like that. I cannot stand them. They make me sick to my stomach because there was nothing going on. It was a no-hitter. There was very limited plays towards the net. There was nothing crisp. It was just a bad period. I don't know what else to say, gang.
You know what's funny is that, you talk about it being a no-hitter. Torts talked about that earlier today.
Yeah, said that it's a no-hit league. Because he was talking about Emil Andre and about Andre coming out of the lineup.
Because he got that hit.
Because he took that hit.
That's not why he came out of the lineup, but
he was talking about that, and then he said that it is a no-hit league, and then also noted the fact that in the midst of it being a no-hit league, that players need to learn to have their head on a swivel, and because it is a no-hit league, guys are getting bad habits of not expecting or anticipating a hit coming.
I agree with Torts. Again, when you don't think or expect to be hit, that's when bad things will happen. And I agree with John all the way on that. And again, it's part of the game, and I just feel like guys get away from it. I don't understand. I'll say this about hitting. I remember Craig Ramsey came to me once. I tell this story, and he got to me, and a lot of people wanted me to just run guys through the boards, and I could do that sometimes, but you couldn't do it every shift, and they wanted that kind of presence to be around every shift. And I remember Craig Ramsey said to me once, Bundy, I'm going to be honest with you, it's an important part of the game, but hitting is the most overrated part of the game. And he goes, try playing the game without trying to throw your body through the boards once a period. And I did. Instead of just rubbing guys out on the boards, playing the body, making a good poke check, you can still do that. You don't have to. You don't see those big monster hits anymore in the league, but there's still a value to competition and winning those loose puck battles. And I don't see enough of that without the physicality in this league most nights.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough where it's gone in this league. It's not a great product sometimes. Not all the time. I mean, sometimes you have really good, exciting games, but
So far tonight has not been one through the first 20, the 20-minute frame tonight. That has not been the kind of hockey that you want to see.
Not in the least. Not in the least.
If it makes you feel any better, we talk about bad product. You guys know I love basketball, but it's hard to argue that the NBA product has done anything but get worse. They had a recent ratings update. It came out yesterday that the in-season tournament, remember we were talking about that with the Four Nations Cup, the in-season tournament ratings are down double digits. The NBA on ESPN's down 28% this year. The league as a whole is down 48% since 2012. Now,
it's a three-point shooting league. That's why. And I'm a basketball guy, too, because of my daughters. So
I will note that across the board, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see most sports go down, especially as more and more are only available or mostly are available on cable. What you end up seeing is the Nielsen ratings reflect cable and in some case don't reflect streaming. And cord cutting. I actually do wonder. Well, but hold on, because I do wonder with like Max, for example, because I know that like Amazon Prime, I believe, reports, or YouTube TV reports to Nielsen, but the non-tied to those, like Amazon Prime,
that's fine.
Peacock.
But I guarantee you it's down from last season.
It is. No, I just read it.
So what my point is that if you're doing a comparative to 2012, of course you're going to see a difference.
Yeah.
Because back then you didn't have the streaming services that you have, or games on streaming services like you do now. But if you're doing a year-over-year comparison and they're down significantly, that you can't sit there and say it's because of streaming and cord cutting. Everybody had streaming and cord cutting last year, so what's the excuse?
I'm actually looking to see.
And I would guarantee you, I would bet you, and I don't have the numbers, I haven't looked, it really doesn't interest me all that much. I know this is your thing. I've always been like, I don't really care. I would bet you that the NHL's down a little bit too. Maybe not as much, but I would bet you it's down a little bit too.
Anthony, a couple things on here. I don't know what you can or cannot share, but there's a lot of questions about this LA King stuff going around the league a little bit. Is there anything you could lend to that?
Well, the reason I'll tell you why everybody's going crazy about this, right? Because I think Frank Saravalli went on a show. I don't know if it was his show or another show earlier today, and talked about the Flyers and Kings maybe potentially getting a deal done before Christmas, before the trade freeze. Which is right before Christmas. And so, I decided to do some digging today. And I can tell you that there have not been any substantive talks of late. There may have been talks between the team about a month ago, a few weeks back, but nothing substantive. It's more about kind of getting a sense of who teams might be interested in, who you might be interested in on another team, that kind of thing. These are conversations that teams have with one another pretty regularly. Right? I mean, so like, I asked tonight about the Los Angeles Kings, for example, because everybody's talking about it. But I guarantee you, if I asked my people about the, name a team, the Calgary Flames, that I'm sure there would have been some conversation of some level there as well, right? I mean, it just depends on how far along your conversations go. And maybe there was something a little bit more substantive about a month ago, but as of right now, nothing. I think that the Kings have interest in guys like Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, and that's kind of an interesting thing. So we sit there and go, okay, well, if that's true, then what would the Flyers want on the other end?
Right.
And like for Frost, I think you're probably, no matter who you end up trading him to, if you trade Frost, but I think it's going to happen, it's probably going to be a situation where it's center for center, and it maybe is, reclamation project for reclamation project.
Totally fine.
And that's kind of what I think you're looking at.
It's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, you're basically looking at it and saying, hey, these guys were at one point, highly touted, and maybe they haven't worked out with their current team, and we're just going to flip them for one another, and maybe that going to a new team is what sparks them. And it could end up being a good hockey trade for both sides. Maybe both players do well, and okay, great, worked out for both teams.
It just seems like there's a lot of activity, and last year in the November-ish area, we saw a good amount of activity. I know that there are people right now who are getting beside themselves that like, oh, Danny's missing out on a lot of guys. Danny's missing out. Flyers are getting left behind. Vineet Singh brought up pregame that Jonesy had given a comment about the Flyers being sellers at the deadline and certainly not buyers. And I found where it came from. He was on with Kiprios.
That's who it was. He was on with Kipper, yeah.
He was on a couple of days ago. This came out a couple of days ago. He said, we're not going to be adding. We'll be subtracting. We've been clear about that. He said, we are not in a position.
That was Jonesy.
Yeah, Jonesy said, we are not in a position where we're ready to be Stanley Cup contending team yet. We're going to battle and try to win every night, but at the same time, we're not losing sight of where we need to get in order to be a team that can consistently compete for that Stanley Cup. He also said, we're open to a lot of ideas, I'll tell you that, but there's no doubt I can't rule out any member of our team not being part of that future. Well, Matvei Michkov. They are not going to trade Matvei Michkov.
No.
That's it.
No.
The rest of them.
And look, if you're going to trade Farabee, I think you got to get a little bit of something for him. I mean, he's an established player, doesn't make a ton of money,
Yeah.
I think that you probably that's not just a 1-for-1 kind of thing. You probably have to give up, if LA or whoever would have to give up a little bit more than, just a depth forward.
It's just funny, though, when you think about it, because there are times where Farabee looks really good. He looks like the player that you kind of envisioned him to turn into a couple of years ago, 3 years ago maybe. And then there are times that he's not a factor, and he doesn't look actively engaged in games.
Who was that again?
Farabee.
Yeah.
No,
he
doesn't shoot the puck enough. That's the problem. They need him to be a goal scorer, and he's not.
Yeah, you gotta be on the scoring column for a guy doing that job.
Right.
You gotta chip in. You gotta find a way to get to 20 goals, 25 goals.
Yeah, and he's just not doing that. Torts talked about that too pregame, and he said it was a game. I don't know if it was the game the other night or not. Might have been a couple games ago, but wide open net. If he just shoots it, it's a goal. But he tries to make a pass.
Right.
And it's like, just shoot the puck there. Like, shoot the puck. Don't try and make a play. Just shoot the puck on goal. And that's kind of what he's not doing. But other than that, they seem to have liked his game this season, just other than the fact that he's not scoring goals. Joe,
Please read that.
Joe, it says that Joe puts out, they're in a playoff spot. Stop talking about selling. They did that last year, told a hard-working locker room they don't believe in them, and they collapsed. Already have 3 firsts this year. Let's let this team try and make the playoffs. Joe, this team is not ready to win. They're just not. And sneaking into the playoffs, look, if they do, they do, and that's good on that locker room because they're not as talented as a number of teams in the NHL. But the reality of it is that they're better off not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. Because then you're picking out of the lottery. You're not even in the conversation for that. These are the things we talked about. These are one of the things we talked about, the hiring of John Tortorella. John Tortorella will make your team 7 wins better.
He raises your floor.
He will win you 7 games more in a year than what your team is capable of winning. And with that 14 points, that takes you out of any contention of being able to pick in the top 3 or top 5 of the NHL draft.
Yeah, I mean, pending significant luck, yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, now they have some moves. They have some first-round picks. Maybe they want to move up. I have an idea of who I think they want in this upcoming draft, a game changer. But I don't know. Again, you have to get to number 1 to do that.
So much of it comes down to this, too. I think that people are so conditioned. And in fairness, there have been years where Ant and I have yelled at each other about this, where it's like, well, you just have to get in. You never know what's going to happen. We have a pretty good idea that, if last year's team had sneaked into the playoffs, they weren't winning multiple rounds.
Yeah.
If they sneak into the playoffs this year, they're not winning multiple rounds. Unless something really significant. Listen, I will allow for the possibility that in the second half of the season, somebody takes 5 steps, right? Like the form that Tippett's been on, he gets consistent with it. Farabee remembers the guy that he was supposed to be, and everything. Maybe they make that trade, that 1-for-1 center trade, and it unlocks another level to some of these guys. Sure, things can happen, but long term, it's not good. This is year 2 of the proclaimed rebuild. If you pick high in the upcoming draft and you have those 3 picks, let this be the 1 year that you don't try to make it, and then next year start winning again. Flip it next year, but get 1 more lottery pick.
Do we have a stat of the night?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, we do. Got to be quick.
All right, so Tuesday, the Flyers won in Columbus. Travis Konecny scored 2 goals in the second period. That's his 5th multi-goal game this season, I believe, which ties him for the league lead with Panarin and Mikko Rantanen. Also, the 6th career multi-goal period of his career, which is second on the Flyers since he joined the league in the 16-17 season. The only person with more is Couturier, who's done it 7 times.
I'm surprised Couturier's done it 7 times.
Yeah.
7 multi-goal periods?
Yes.
Wow.
That's interesting. That is a little bit of a surprise. It is a little bit of a surprise.
That's a good stat.
It is good stat. Good stat.
We saved it for late in the period.
Yeah.
Late in the intermission.
Also, real quick note, I know that there's 3 goalies right now. Torts kind of made a proclamation this morning at the skate that Urson's number 1, Kolosov's number 2, and Fedotov's number 3. I'm told that they're going to keep all 3 goalies at least through the holidays. Right now, it's looking dim for Fedotov to play, but you never know with Torts. Right? like if Kolosov has a stinker, you might say, all right, you're number 3 now, and Fedotov's going to get a game.
Yeah, I don't think that's locked in any kind of...
I wouldn't set it in stone. It might be that's the order right now, but I bet it's just written in pencil.
And if it happens, somebody's going to say, oh, see, that was Torts. He was lighting a fire under Fedotov.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's exactly what he's doing.
100%.
I don't think the Flyers are worried about waiving Fedotov to go to the AHL because he has that second year on his contract. And I don't think that they feel like a team, even a team that needs goaltending,
is going to pick him up.
Is going to pick him up and take on a full
another
another contract.
Yeah, right.
3.4, whatever it is, right? So I don't think that's going to happen. So I think ultimately he may go down. They could try a conditioning assignment at some point, but Danny is just punting this down the line as far as he can until he absolutely has to make a decision. He doesn't, they have the extra roster spot. So I expect all 3 goalies to stay on the roster for at least the rest of this month.
Okay. Good stuff, Ant. Great reporting.
Thank you.
I think it's time for us to head out. We'll be back for the second intermission and post-game. If you haven't done so already, there goes Bundy. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to Snow the Goalie on YouTube. Ring the bell so you get notified whenever we go live, and we'll talk to all of you on the same stream. Second intermission. Let's see if anybody actually scores a goal. That'd be nice. Into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show, the side of the Mississippi. It's easier if you Mike Tyson it.
It's
This side of the Mississippi.
it's easy if you say sassy mice.
Sassy mice racing across the ice.
Doesn't know Mr. Rippy, but he knows Mississippi.
Anyway, welcome in. Scott Lawton is unhinged. A slap shot on a breakaway to give the Flyers a lead. Matvei Michkov attempts the Michigan, and we are here to break it all down. Plus, intern Andrew with the trivia question of the night. Where do we want to start there, boys? The Flyers have 30 shots through 2 periods.
Yeah.
The Red Wings are a bad team, aren't they?
They're the worst team I've seen this year.
Worse than Chicago?
Worse than Chicago.
Yeah.
You've just won. You've taken over the lead for the worst team we've seen in this building. That is a pathetic dumpster fire that they put on the ice tonight, Detroit. Like, it is embarrassing. You know, it's great that the Flyers got the lead. They're playing well. They've got almost, is it 30 shots exactly?
It's 30 on the
Okay,
bench.
so yeah,
19 that period.
and that's great. Like, the Flyers are really pouring it towards the net. And they're
Hell of an effort in net for Detroit.
yeah, and Cam Talbot's
Talbot.
been good. Yeah, Cam Talbot.
Former
Former
Cam
Flyer,
Talbot.
yeah, Cam Talbot. He's played really, really well. But at the same time, Detroit, like, they have no offense. You want to see a game where there's 2 teams engaging each other. Patrick Kane looks like he should be playing in a men's league in Pennsauken right now. If you watch him, it's unbelievable. He does, if he has the puck, he goes half speed. If he doesn't have the puck, he goes no speed.
He came ready. Bundy came ready for intermission.
It's just awful to watch a team perform like that.
Yeah, that was a bad. Like, they weren't good in the first period. That was next level. That was next level bad. Cam Talbot, in the span of like 5 minutes, had to make like 8 incredible saves just to keep the game tied, and then Lawton scores on the breakaway. And Bundy and I were talking about, like, how often do you get a slap shot on a breakaway anymore?
You don't.
Right? That was the first.
He shot it from 6 feet away. I was worried. I'm thinking to myself, how is he going to get the angle on this?
Yeah.
Like, I was going to run out of angle.
Yeah.
Either that puck hits a guy in the shoulder or it goes over the net. That must have been absolutely precise, to complete precision, for that puck to go short side high with a slap shot taken about 8 feet away from the net.
It's crazy.
It was
Crazy.
It was pretty crazy. But hey, take it. 1-0 Flyers lead after 2. On the whole, good period for the Flyers. It started a little slow, but I'd say probably from about the last 10 minutes, it was all Flyers. Like, all Flyers the last 10 minutes. And so, yeah, they get the lead, and that's good. Good for them, because they should beat this team.
This is
They
a
should
win.
beat this team.
The Flyers cannot lose this game tonight. There's no way. There's no way. I know it's 1-0. It should be 3-0. It's 1-0. The first period stunk by both teams. The Flyers pressed harder in the second. But I'll tell you what, they're up against the worst team I've seen in the National Hockey League this year. In a single game performance, this is as bad as it gets, fellas. You cannot give away a point in this game. I don't care if they're from the West or not.
Yeah.
Get 2 points in regulation, get the hell out of Dodge.
They're not in the West anymore, Bundy.
I'm sorry. I kept
Well, they were
thinking
for a
the
while.
West. Yeah,
They were for a while.
They were when you
They're
played.
west of here.
I kept thinking about, you know why that happened? I was just talking to Mark Howe for about 30 minutes in the first period. We were talking about Detroit and then playing LA and against teams out in the West.
Yeah.
That's so funny how it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care that they're out of it. You get the 2 points in regulation today and sink this team. This is a bad hockey team.
It is. It is.
The other moment from that period that people are obviously lighting up on social right now is the Michigan attempt by Michkov. The last time he attempted one in a game, I think, was against Boston. That's when Hartnell had his Hartnell meltdown about Michkov even attempting it. I ripped him a new one on this show. What did you guys think of the moment you have a lead, or what are your thoughts?
Again, and I'll repeat what I said the last time, because I agreed with Hartnell the last time, because I think it's a time and place kind of situation. Now, it was only 1-0, which was similar. I think it was a 1-goal game the last time, so we shouldn't do it in a 1-goal game. But the difference here was they were on the power play.
Okay.
So you're on the power play.
Delayed penalty, yeah.
Well, yeah. So they're not going to score.
Yeah.
They're not going to score on the play.
Yeah,
so in that instance, I'm okay with it. Totally okay with it. Because unless you go and shoot the puck in your own net, you're not at risk, right? So
Talbot read it the whole way too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been locked in.
Yeah. So in that instance, Bundy, I'm sure you probably don't have a problem with it either in that spot?
I don't care. I don't care if he tries it whenever, unless you don't. If it doesn't harm your team with an opportunity going the other way, I don't care. Show the skill. Show something.
Yeah.
I mean, in a game like this tonight, go ahead and do it.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with it in
Entertain
that
the
spot.
fans. I don't have a general problem with that play at all. I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, the problem is it's just not a high percentage play. That's
true.
what Torts is not going to like about it. The percentage. I mean, what are the odds of that? How many times has a Michigan been tried? Let's say it's 100 times. It's going to work twice, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, this comes back to the argument I think from the last time too. A wraparound goal, if that's all is on tape, is you attempting a wraparound on ice level. They don't work at a super high clip either, and you're running the risk of a much bigger rebound coming off the goalie's pad on a kick save than you are attempting a Michigan where, like the last time, it went over the crossbar. This time, it went off the blocker and went up.
I think you're speaking out your ass with that, but that's
I don't think so.
Yeah, you have a better chance on
Michigan went over the net.
You have a better chance of scoring on a wraparound on the ice than you do on the
I didn't say that you don't. I'm just saying that there are a lot of attempts on wraparounds at ice level, and they also don't hit at a super high clip either.
Well, no, but
Oftentimes it's because
any shot.
It's oftentimes because you catch the goalie.
Yeah, does any
leaning the
shot
other way.
hit at a super high clip?
Yeah.
No, I mean, but if you're going less than what average is, then it's low, right? And so Michigan is low.
All right. Speaking of stats, and speaking of some other better way to transition out of this, we're going to go over to intern Andrew for a loved segment here on the show in the second intermission, and that, of course, is intern Andrew's trivia question of the night. Go ahead, young man.
Well, you alluded to it a second ago, Anthony, that the Detroit Red Wings used to be in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And in the 1997 Stanley Cup Final,
Great
Red
memories.
Wings beat the Flyers. So I'm not going to center this question around that series per se, because I don't want to dance on your grave, even though you dance on my grave when Penn State loses, but that's okay. Can you remember the 3 teams that you beat to get to the finals?
Oh, yeah.
How many games each series was, and who was your guys' leading goal scorer in the playoffs?
Every game was 5 games.
Yes.
Yeah.
We beat Buffalo.
Yep.
We beat the New York Rangers was in the 3rd round, and we beat the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep.
Yes.
And the leading goal scorer for the playoffs.
Wait, hold on. Say it again.
He said
We
Buffalo,
beat
Pittsburgh,
Buffalo,
okay, yes,
Buffalo,
yeah,
Pittsburgh, then the Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got that right.
The leading goal scorer for
Are you saying the leading goal scorer for each series individually?
No,
or-
The
for the
playoffs
Flyers.
as a whole.
Okay.
leading goal scorer for the playoffs?
Interesting. It's got to be it's a wing, right?
Renberg?
No.
Leading for just the Flyers or the whole league?
Yeah.
The
Flyers.
Flyers.
Might have, I mean, could it have been like somebody like just a really obscure?
Dale Hawerchuk.
Dale Hawerchuk was my guess.
No. No. Dale Hawerchuk had 2 goals in the playoffs.
All right, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's a guy that was next to Wayne Gretzky. It was Dale Hawerchuk in the 80s, so let's have a little respect here, Andrew.
Just saying.
The leading scorer for the Flyers.
You had 1, by the way. Do you remember what game it was?
I had a goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I scored against Buffalo.
Yes. Do you remember what game?
It was game 2.
That's right.
Give us a 2-0 lead.
That is
I
correct.
actually had.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they scored to make it 2-1, so you technically got the game
I
winner.
got the game-winning goal.
Ah,
yeah.
you know what?
Clutch master,
Stick
Chris
caps.
Therien.
I was second. I remember
Bundy.
being second in the playoffs that year for plus-minus in the whole league.
Were you really?
Yeah, Larry Murphy was first. I was second.
You were plus 14.
Plus 14, yeah.
Not a big deal.
How about that?
Yeah.
Certainly, he's no Jamie Drysdale, but he's pretty.
When you
pretty good.
get swept by the Red Wings, believe me, and you go to the finals, you remember any stats you have from that playoff run.
Wow, leading is it Leclerc? I mean, that would have been the easy guess.
I would have said Lindros or Leclerc.
So Lindros had 12, Leclerc had 9.
Oh.
That makes them second and third.
12 points total?
No, goals. Somebody
Oh,
had more goals
goals.
than Lindros at 12?
Yes, someone had 13.
Brindamore?
It is Rod Brindamore.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, bonus question, because I didn't know this. Maybe you'll roast me again for not knowing this. Do you know what the name of this building was that year?
the
Yes.
Core State Arena.
Core State Center, yeah.
Curious Center.
Okay.
Core State. You didn't know that was the first name
That
of
was
this
the first
building?
I don't have memories
Whoa,
before.
don't look. Do you know all of them?
No, I'm looking at them right now.
Ah.
So I don't have any memories before Wachovia.
You don't remember the FU Center?
No.
Didn't it went Coors, First Union, Wachovia, Wells, right?
Coors State,
Yeah.
First Union, Wachovia, Wells Fargo.
That is interesting, though, that your tenure here was so long that you played in this building and it had 3 different names.
I did, yeah. It was the Wachovia Center, the Coors State Center,
And the First Union. We used
and
to
the
call
First
the
Union Center. What was the first one? First Union Center?
Coors State.
Coors State was the
first
first, then
one.
First Union.
Then First Union.
Before that it was the Spectrum. Right?
Yeah, correct.
But that was
Spectrum was
different building. Right?
It was also,
it was
That
in
I
fact
know.
a different building, yes.
but it was the Coors State Spectrum at the end.
I remember when they
That I did not
changed
know.
the name. Mr. Snyder was in Buffalo meeting the team before a playoff game, and I was having a coffee by myself and waiting for the bus, and he came in, and there was news that day that the Coors State Center was going to become the First Union Center.
Yep.
I remember I said, "Hey, Mr. Snyder, I heard there's going to be a building name change." He goes, "Oh," he goes, with some sparing words, he goes, "Don't even get me started on that." It must have been like a real corporate pain
Well,
in the ass.
and I'm
you
sure
know?
that they looked at it from the perspective of it was going. People were never going to call it the First Union Center.
Right.
It was always going to be the FU Center.
FU
Which is
Center.
like the most fitting thing ever for a Philly team.
And that's probably part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what would be if we had to rename the building? What is a good representation
Wawa
of?
Center. If you're saying, are you saying if he had it?
Yeah, I'm saying if you could get it.
The only
I
thing,
would be surprised by Wawa though, because like
it's too regional.
they're in the midst of a massive expansion though.
Yeah, but I would think you would want a company that is recognized nationwide or North America wide. You know, that way when a team from Edmonton comes in
Did I tell you about like
and they're watching the game, right? Back home on
how many people are affected
Sportsnet
by the
in
name
Canada.
of stadiums though?
No, but they're going to say, "Oh, live from the Wawa Center," and the people in Edmonton will be like, "What the hell's a Wawa Center?"
Yeah, I think Wawa would be the one though. I mean, they're a massive company. I mean, they're regionally located on the eastern seaboard of the U.S., but
They're going into the Midwest, though. I know this because on the way back from Vegas, there were people near me on the plane that were at some kind of conference out in Vegas for like gas stations and gas station like food and such. And they're like, yeah, Wawa's doing this huge expansion into the Midwest. So I won't be surprised if, I don't know, Wawa, what else? Yingling you wouldn't name no, not my hometown. They can get like in-arena ads, but not the Yingling Center. Okay.
Victory Brewing?
Victory. I don't think Victory's big enough.
No, probably not.
What's another Philly brand? Or Hers
someone
chips?
said Tasty Cakes.
That's even more regional than Wawa.
Yeah.
You get outside of Pennsylvania. Where can you find Tasty Cakes? Are they in Jersey? I guess they're in
You
Jersey.
get them in
probably.
Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Florida.
Can you get them in Florida?
Yeah, when I was at spring training, we went into the Wawa.
Wawa actually, if
Get
I'm
the
not
Tasty
mistaken, I think they may have started in Florida.
No, I'm not talking about Wawa. I'm saying Tasty Cake.
Oh, Tasty Cakes.
Tasty Cakes you can get
Yeah.
in Florida.
Let's go to the comments. Hers.
Hers is big locally. They're in Chester County.
I love Hers. If Hers wants to sponsor this show, we'll let them.
I would love that.
Actually, any of these companies.
I wonder, Chevy, now that they're on the helmet.
Oh, the Chevrolet Center doesn't sound bad.
Chevy Center.
Chevy Center. I'm okay with that. That wouldn't be bad at all.
Yeah, it's got a good ring. The Chevy Center.
The Chevy Center would be okay.
Yeah.
Now, would they give free parking to all people who drive GM cars? Right? Because they did it on opening night.
Only
where
one
everybody
night.
driving a Chevy.
Only one night.
The Russ Joy Center. Thank you, Steven. That's very nice of you. The Russ Joy Show.
Yeah.
Arena. No. Tasty Cake would be interesting. Here we go. Matthew Bennick, though, with a good call out here. I've been shipping Tasty Cakes to California for years.
Huh. Love it.
Okay. The intern Andrew, House of Pain.
That's a good one.
House of Pain.
The Dunkin' Donuts Dome.
Dunkin' Donuts is too
Too
Boston.
Boston-y, right?
Wasn't there a Dunkin' Donuts
They're
center?
in Providence.
Providence,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Providence.
The Dunk,
Friars.
they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have known that. That was my old arena.
It's still a dump today.
It is, yeah.
like it was then.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Favorite Tasty Cake. Didn't we do this? Did we do that this
Then
year?
you roasted me because I'd never had one.
Have you had one since?
No.
What is wrong with you?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what I'm eating.
We got to make sure that you live a long, healthy, prosperous life.
Thank
And
you.
it all begins with a beautiful Tasty Cake. Got to get the 3-pack. 2's not enough. You got to feel bad about yourself on that third one. Do I really need this? And then you eat it, and you're like, yeah, I did. And then when you get the indigestion, like 10 minutes later, you go, I didn't need that. But you never remember.
They were always in 3-packs when I was going. Everything was a 3-pack, Tasty Cake. And then they narrowed it down to the 2s, and we were like disappointed. But it was always a 3-pack.
Really?
Everything. Yeah.
When I go into Wawa, I always look for, I have my favorite one, but I always look for the 3-pack, and it's usually on sale. Buy 2, get, 2 for the price of 1. That's the next level kind of stuff. And then you prepare it, and you hide it in a cabinet where the kids won't find it, or you hide one in your center console just in case. Emergency Tasty Cakes. That's next level.
I like the cream-filled coffee cake.
Ooh, not a bad one. Hey, Bundy.
I like that butterscotch crimpet.
I like that too. That's the best. I mean, it's probably the most classic.
Like when you bite into that butterscotch crimpet, you say, you know what, these next 5 minutes are going to be really important for my taste buds. Bundy, what very important things do the Flyers have to do in the first 5 minutes of this third and final period?
Just keep playing the way they're playing. I mean, if Detroit wakes up, well, good for them. But I mean, the way they played, all the Flyers got to do is keep their foot on the gas here and just continue making life difficult. Detroit's the worst team I've seen all year. I'm going to say it for the 5th time this intermission. And you got to go there, right? You broke down my thought. I forgot what I was saying. Russ, the first 5 is important, even with the lead. So the Flyers need to keep pressing.
Bundy, what would
There was not one he wouldn't like. I could assure you of that. There would be no thank you would not exist in that vocabulary. Would you like a tasty? Yep. Crimp? Yeah. Yes.
Can't even get the word out, right?
Yeah. Anything that starts with a crimp? Yes, please.
We'll be back post-game.
See you in a bit, guys.
We'll break the game down post-game. If you're looking for hockey talk, post-game, we'll probably do it. Okay. Talk to all of you very soon. Here on the Snow the Goalie YouTube channel. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. It was a weird game. The Flyers had 30 shots through 2 periods and put together, I think, 5 there in the, or was that 6? Was that last one the 6th goal or 6th shot in the period? They finished with 35 and 36. ¿Cuántos shots?
36.
36. All right, so 6 shots.
2 of those were empty netters.
2 were empty netters. Scott Lawton, his first career 4-goal game, his first hat trick at the time since February 7th of 2021. That was a 7-4 win in Washington. Bundy, the man just picked up 4 goals in a game.
All 4 goals.
All of them.
Every goal.
Each of them was the game winner.
You know what? Every dog has his day, and everybody has a game in this league that they'll remember forever. And this will be the night Scott Lawton remembers forever, the game that he scored 4 goals, and he was the only goal scorer on the ice in a team win.
This is the night that you pick up the phone and you reach out to a couple of teams before the freeze and you say, hey, remember that second-round pick you were offering? That's 4 goals. Scott Lawton to you.
Mike Butts has a question here. What was the last Flyer to put up for it? Andrew, you had the answer to that.
I'm seeing October.
I swear, if you give a fake news answer.
I'm seeing October of 2002. It was John LeClaire who had 4 in a 6-2 win against Montreal.
Oh, that's a shocker. He used to dominate that team.
1, 2, yeah, he had 4 goals in that game. So that was October 15th, 2002, if anyone wants to fact check me. I believe that's the last time a Flyer scored 4 in one game.
Well, whatever it was, Scotty Lawton had his Wayne Gretzky night. Everyone has that Wayne Gretzky moment. That's his Wayne Gretzky moment. That will never be forgotten. Great job by Scotty Lawton and by the team, to be honest with you, because that was a hard game to play. You know, there wasn't a lot of energy in the building the first probably 30, 35 minutes of the game. The third period was not a lot better. Detroit made it interesting for a few minutes there, but I felt like the Flyers, there's no way they were going to lose this game. Not the way Detroit was playing and the way the Flyers had really pushed the pace, I thought, in the second period to get some more shots on goal. But good win, excellent night for Scotty Lawton, and I thought Kolosov played great in the third period. He kept the Flyers in that game. He made a couple of 10-bell saves that were super important.
The glove save at the end, right after Detroit had put up 1, it looked like they were going to tie it. That glove save was unbelievable. I think that basically just killed Detroit's will.
Yeah, I thought that was a really, really great job by Kolosov late down the stretch. So that gives him a lot more confidence, confidence in his teammates playing in front of him. So it's good to have a couple of guys going. 2 good wins now against Columbus, played well, and again tonight here they did what they had to do. It wasn't a pretty game, but the Flyers ended up doing what they needed to do.
I mean, Detroit and Philly could end up playing in the same city next month. Perhaps the NFC Championship game. This is a good start, getting a win.
Hopefully Philly keeps that dominant streak running. That could be the championship game, one way or another.
Now, one thing that we got to experience here that no one else did is watching Ant frantically change his AP story. He was really excited when they were up 2-0, and he's like, my story is done. Then Detroit scored. Then Lawton got the hat trick. Then Lawton got the 4th. And look at him. Now he's back to frantically working, and it's hilarious. Now, one of the things that what? Do you want to get in here? What?
Yeah, well, you know, it was funny because I had everything ready to go, and then even after he gets the first empty netter, it wasn't a lot that had to be changed. But now, if this is the first guy to do this since 2002 for the Flyers, that changes a lot for the story. Yeah, completely changes it.
Did you find anything that was to the contrary?
No, I have not.
Andrew, small box yourself. I'm getting half of me on the end here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good job with the camera working.
That's on Russ. That's not on
That's
me.
not. Whoa. Look at all the. There's so much gap over here. You know, anyway. Bundy.
I don't want to get any tighter.
Just to kind of give people a recap, because, again, some people listen in the podcast feed. They don't get the benefit of pregame intermissions and everything. One of the things that we talked about earlier tonight was Tortorella coming out and saying that Ersson's the number 1, Kolosov's the number 2, Fedotov is the number 3, and that he already had informed Fedotov that he was the 3rd and the playing time might be minimal here. What did you see out of Kolosov tonight? I mean, it's a bad Detroit team, but they did kind of put up a stronger effort, obviously, after that first.
I thought that I don't think Detroit really had a whole lot going on in that hockey game at all, Russ, but Who are you asking about again? I'm sorry, I lost you.
Kolosov.
I mean, all he can do is do the job that he did in goal tonight. I mean, he was really good when he had to be. First 40 minutes, I thought he could have played it in a rocking chair, to be honest with you. I don't think there was much of anything. Detroit had nothing of any substance. Third period, though, between about the 10-minute mark and about the 4-minute mark, man, he had to make some stops, and he did make some critical saves to keep the Flyers in the game. It would have been a shame for Detroit to tie this game and possibly throw this thing to overtime. It would have been a crime, to be honest with you, because I don't think Detroit's a good team at all. And now, having seen them, no wonder they have been going up and down like they have. You know, this was actually one of the off games, but I think they played 10 of their last 11 games were all one-goal games until tonight, and it technically was again, you know, until the empty netters. But that's the kind of losing that they've done, and they've done a lot of losing in one-goal games. That can wear on a team mentally over the course of a year.
When you look at Kolosov and how he's playing now versus earlier in the season when there were a lot of people who thought that he looked like an AHL goalie. Do you think he's shown enough here? I mean, obviously he's shown enough that he jumped Fedotov on the depth chart, but do you think he's now shown enough to prove that he belongs at this level, even if it's, you know, as a backup?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. And again, we'll have to figure out what they're going to do with Fedotov. But again, you know, if they have to send him down, I think with that extra year, as we were talking about earlier, if it comes to that, I think what they're trying to do now, like Anthony talked about earlier, they're trying to buy some time, just to buy time, just to get one day ahead of the next, and to try to keep this thing going for as often as long as you possibly can. But if they do have to make a decision, a roster decision, I think if they have to put Fedotov on waivers, I think it's going to be a tough pickup for somebody because he's got that extra year left on his contract.
Yeah. Although there are teams that are hurting for goalies, but it could be. I mean, it's certainly more of a poison pill.
There's no doubt.
In a way, you know, we said this at the time. You don't want to see your starter get hurt. Nobody wanted Sam Ersson to get hurt, but it ends up kind of being a blessing in disguise because you did get to see Kolosov get meaningful minutes and meaningful starts at the NHL level. And had it not been for Ersson getting hurt, it's likely Kolosov's still down in the AHL. I mean, unless Fedotov's play also hadn't turned around, then, you know, maybe you get into the same situation. But it oddly enough has kind of worked out for this team where they've gotten to get a look at him.
They have, and they've had an opportunity to with the injury to Ersson, and then they've kept their head above water. You know, all the talk about the goaltenders and the save percentage and the goals against average, Flyers have been fine of late. You know, they really have. Like, their heads above water. They're a couple of games over 500 in the win-loss regulation column. And so they've been able to muster some stuff up.
We have people coming up with names, by the way.
How you doing, Ant?
Should be good.
We have people calling him Coley the goalie. We've had people call him Sexy Alexi. We have people calling him Cola Save. All those shirts are going to be available over on shop.snowthegoalie.com.
Something.
And what were your big takeaways from tonight? You wrote the story for the AP. What are your thoughts?
Come on. You know that AP story is next to nothing, right? It's 300 words.
What were your big takeaways in that 300-word piece that you're somehow getting paid
Scott
for?
Lawton got a career game for him.
What was the actual takeaway? Those are fluff goals.
Detroit stinks.
Okay.
Like, what are the odds tonight of Scotty Lawton scoring the only 4 goals in a hockey game?
Yeah.
Very low.
1,000,000 to 1?
Yeah.
That's right. There we go.
1,000,000 to 1?
I mean, it was very, very long odds.
I mean, you got to think getting 4 goals, all of them, all the goals in a game and a 4-1 win.
I like the selfless play that he had, by the way, on that 2-on-none with the empty net.
Tried to give it to Garnet Hathaway.
Garnet Hathaway.
It was just like,
nope,
he
I
just
don't want
passed
to
back
do
to him
it.
like, hell no, net. Like,
he's like, are you kidding me right now? You're going to get a 4-goal game and you're going to pass the puck?
Yep.
I would have actually carried it if I were Hathaway a little further and just given him, come on up with me. Come on, I'll give you a tap in at the goal line.
Oh, that's something else.
Good win though. It ended up being a good win.
Good for Scotty though.
You don't want to lose games like this, you know, where you just the team did enough to win. Detroit just had nothing going on. It was an important win. It was a big 2 points for this team. It really was.
You know, the other big thing here is we spent a lot of time now talking about how you need a bunch of these guys to kind of pull the nose up on their own respective seasons, and if they do, you'll start to see this team maybe win. Tippett did a good job of that recently. Farabee had kind of done that recently. Lawton has, for the most part, not been much of a factor scoring this season.
He had just keep this in mind.
Go ahead.
Before he gets 4 goals tonight, he had 1 goal in his last 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had 3 goals on the year.
And 2 were in Seattle in the first weekend of the season, right, when they were on that road trip.
Yep.
And in the last 25 games, he's had 1 goal. And then he scored 4 tonight.
He's hot.
That's even more unfathomable, right? I mean, when you say it's 1,000,000 to 1, it's probably 1,000,000 to 1 that a really good player gets 4 goals in a game.
You could give 4, like say Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
It's still
right.
I mean, it's just.
I mean, it's probably
2 of them are empty net, but yeah,
it doesn't matter. That's but it's the one guy getting all 4 goals for a team in a game.
Sure,
like that's crazy.
Only 4-goal game in the league this season so far.
no way.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't happen that often.
the first one since Tage Thompson did it March of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another good pull by you.
Yeah,
Intern Andrews had a good night.
I'm just researching over here, baby.
The intern Andrew research department.
He had a
there.
good stat. He had a good trivia question. He didn't screw up any drafts. He did a good job tonight.
Yeah.
Jury's still out until we find out if he follows anybody into the bathroom.
Good note from Landros. I lost it. It went up, scrolled up. Maybe you have to find it. He's now in the goal scoring race. Scott Lawton's 3 ahead of Cutter Gauthier this year.
That's what it's all
just
about.
went ahead of him tonight. He was down a goal.
He was down a goal.
Now he's up 3.
I don't know if this is true or not, but we're going to put it up here anyway. Stackaleak says Lawton's interview just now, he said just another day at the office.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's true.
Yeah, all right.
I can't imagine.
Might have been.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, I don't know who's going first down there either, if it's the players or towards probably the players, but
Here you go. Larkin for Lawton and a third.
yeah.
All right,
No, but seriously, I mean, just four goals in a game is impressive enough. I don't care that 2 are empty net, but 4 goals for an entire team by one guy. You want to look up if intern Andrew can find that one. I guarantee you it's less than 10.
What was the question?
All time? 4 goals in a game, and they were the only 4 goals for the team.
Oh, that's gonna be a tough Google.
Well, you got
you got to go beyond that.
Hockey. Who do people call Elias?
Yeah.
Elias
There's also
Sports
StatMuse might.
Well,
you might be able to find it on StatMuse.
I'm on StatMuse right now.
And NHL's got like their own records page, but I'm not sure that that's something that would be under.
Let me see if the
that.
system I have access to has.
Yeah, I'm not sure that. So there's records.nhl.com. I just don't think that would be. Well, I mean, you could find a 4-goal game and just start look at all the 4-goal games in the history of the league and see if any of them were the final score was 4 to whatever.
Right.
That would be the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million 4-goal games.
It can't be that many. By the way, Deirdre says you can do it, Andrew.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Look, Andrew Bundy. Andrew's doing research. Russ is like head down doing research now.
All right.
So it's just me and you.
So why don't you guys do this research at home so me and Anthony can
we
go back and watch TV?
I bet you we can turn off the show, and they wouldn't even realize.
They wouldn't even know it. Russ does that all the time. It's his new favorite thing now. He just shuts his show off when people are talking. All right, I'll pay you back for that.
Apparently,
when did I do that to you?
Apparently, Lawton actually did say, because somebody else is saying it now.
Yeah.
That he did say just another day.
How dare
at the
you
office.
call out somebody in the comments who's just trying to be honest and forthright?
Imagine what Gretzky said when they asked him. What was that like tonight, Wayne, with your 5 points after you had 4 the other night? That's just another day at the office.
Yeah. I mean, we could have had that on the potato cam if a certain somebody had
Gabe,
gone down to the bowels.
Gabe Washel says that
according
according to ChatGPT, 1992, Matt Sundin scored 4 goals in a loss. The team's only 4 goals, and that may have happened. That very well could have happened. But I will tell you that I asked ChatGPT about the Flyers, the last Flyer, to score 4 goals in a game, and it was wrong. So, just want to point that out.
What did it tell you?
It told me it was Tim Kerr in 1985, which I knew was wrong. So, it lied to me. ChatGPT. So,
all right, Russ. What else do we have?
Russ is busy researching stuff.
All right.
So you can walk off, Bundy.
This is just one of those times where, I don't know how to feel. Okay, we are going to be back at it not that long from now.
Yes, it is. Next Thursday.
It's a week.
I said not that long from now.
And Bundy,
Next week.
are you even here next week?
Don't know yet. I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
I'm going to be going up to see my folks in Canada. I hadn't seen them in a little while, so I want to go up and see them. And I will be back either Thursday or Friday. But if I drive back Thursday, I'll come right to the game.
That's nice of you to do that.
What a
If you
sweet
do
guy.
Yeah, I'll try. I'm going to try. Things are going good, I'll hang around. So yeah, it was a good win, and I'll be in touch because I know we have to do our Christmas game, right?
Yeah, I think that's the 21st.
That's the 21st, which
21st.
Russ is going to bail out after like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna be back and forth. There's a Christmas party that we're committed to, but I'm committed to the press row show because it's the number one rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show.
Yeah.
So the Flyers are back at it on Saturday. It's an afternoon game against the Wild. Then they are back, or they're taking on the same Detroit team next Wednesday.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
Oh, so they have a back-to-back.
No.
Yeah, L.A.
Wednesday.
Oh
Thursday.
yeah.
Yeah.
In Philly next Thursday, we'll be back, and next Saturday, where they host the Blue Jackets. We're getting into it, guys.
We are.
The month of December. There aren't that many games, but we'll be here. We're also going to try to figure out a regular Snow the Goalie in the Snow the Goalie studio.
You keep
week.
saying we.
What?
Right? You keep saying we, but let's be honest.
Well, we all have to agree on it.
We do, but let's be honest. Who are we waiting on right now?
Me.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get the approval through.
Yeah.
It's a thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, you held the show hostage for a year.
By the way, and look, I don't want to rip you, Adam. I just want to throw this out there. I don't want to rip you, but so Macklin Celebrini's got 2 goals and assists so far tonight, and you're mad about it.
Who cares about Celebrini?
It's like, why? Because it's going to take a chance away from Mishkov winning Rookie of the Year. Is that
They're going to give it to Celebrini no matter what.
I don't know about that. I mean, if it's close, I think if it's close, it goes that way.
There's an anti-Russian bias in the voters.
Yeah, but isn't there also a West Coast bias?
First of all, I'm one of the voters, right?
Like I said, anti-Russian bias.
Yeah, you know what he is.
That's right. I'm anti-Russian, right?
See you, Timmy.
Yeah.
All right. Good job tonight, fellas. Especially you, Ant.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Bundy worked hard tonight.
Well, I mean, you didn't get us confirmation that they're making a trade, so I don't know.
Oh, but because they're not yet. I mean, that's so. I couldn't get you confirmation that they were. It would be making it up if that was the case.
Just to recap, we had pregame where Ant walked off early to go talk about things. We had pregame where we had a guest on who's going to be performing at the Foundry on Friday.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Who was very flyered up. Ike Richmond was hovering like a mafioso off on the side, tapping on the watch. And then we had some shenanigans during the intermissions. We had a nice night, guys. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. We'll be back next week with a regular Snow the Goalie, as well as the Press Row Show. Everybody have a great night out there. We'll talk to all of you very soon. Intern Andrew, nice job tonight.
Thank you.
Good job, kid, as Bundy says. All right, bye.